folks, welcome ye all to yet another cheap little vlog of mine on the iPhone telephone machine, people. Now, this, it's Flagons Up Saturday, however, I am having a 7-Up, only because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't want to quite start a flagon this early. The sun is blistering outside. It's absolutely gorgeous. So my plan, people, my plan is to wander up to the pub I found at the seafront. It's got live music and everything on. So I'm going to do that in a bit, and that's where I'm going to have me first flagon and edit all this together, probably. But this video was meant to be not a vlog. I was meant to be posting up the first episode of Baldur's Gate 3 on the PlayStation 5 because I paid for the early release version. Well, if you buy the digital deluxe version, you get the access to the game today on the PlayStation 5. If you buy the standard version, you just wait till the 6th, I think it's out. So you're getting it a fair wee bit early, and I thought it was well worth it. However, so I had this plan, right? So last week, I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, my brother was staying last night with my little nephew Rafe, who's 11. So we had a night last night. Then they went off early doors this morning, back down to Bournemouth. Well, they live in Poole, but Bournemouth area. And the plan was that once they'd gone, was going to go from a 10k run, which I did. Superb, lovely, it's a beautiful sunny day. It was still cool at that point. Got back, sorted the garden out because grass cut hadn't been for a couple of weeks, and grass had not. I can't speak, people. The grass had not been cut for a couple of weeks. Needed a bit of weed and all that sort of good stuff, people. So I wanted to get that out of the way while it was dry. Probably not much of that left to do in the year now, but while the weather's good, let's get it done. And then I was going to record. Once that was done, squeeze in an hour and a half's worth of recording for the first part of Baldur's Gate 3 on the PlayStation 5, and I got everything set up. I had did all the updates on the laptop. I got the camp chair out, got all myself set up, had everything around me. It was all good to go, and I hit record and I hit play on the game, and I've still got to wait 3.5 hours before I can play it, people. So I don't get access to it until whatever that was, 5 o'clock BST, so British summertime, 5 o'clock, and it's only 2 o'clock. Well, at that point it was 1:30 or something. So that plan all fell apart, people, and I was reluctant not to do anything because I'm well aware of the fact that I've not posted anything up for a good 3 weeks or so. I've not done a vlog, I've not posted any Let's Plays up. I've not done any vlogs. I've not talked to you guys properly other than posting a few little things on the social bit of the app, just to do little polls and stuff, but I've not done anything proper channel wise to talk to you guys for a good few weeks. So I wanted to pop in one way or the other and say hello. So when all that fell apart, I thought, right, let's do a quick cheap vlog on the iPhone machine. I had written down a few things that I thought were interesting articles to talk about. This is going to be a slightly shorter video than normal because, well, through time, I want to kind of go up to the seafront for about 3:30, and we're on 2 o'clock already. So my plan is to record this as we're doing now, make a quick thumbnail that I can put on it, and then head up there and edit it all together up there. Now, if I do it that way, then I can maybe take a little video and smelt that in for you as well, just so you can see what it is I'm talking about when I go to the seafront. It's just somewhere I've talked about it, I think, in vlogs, but it's a place I was running past for years. Like, I always run up and down the seafront. But I live it's a good 25-minute walk from here, but it's well worth it if the weather's nice. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago or so, that's what I started doing, sort of wandering up there and having a few beers if the weather was nice. So that's what I'm going to do while we're getting the good weather in September, people. So there you are. So with all of that said, there's been a fair bit going on. I think I've talked about the fact that I bought myself my kilt this year, and there was a big wedding happening. It was my nephew Callum's wedding, and that all finally happened last week, people. And it was, I mean, if I can, I might throw a picture up. But I finally got to wear my kilt, and my brother and my nephews and what have you were in all their kilts and stuff as well. My dad and my boy didn't wear a kilt; they wore suits. But everyone looked really smart. And the rest of the guys, because my nephew Callum at the moment is in the army, so his mates and stuff were all in their military uniforms as well, which is really smart. So there's loads of really cool outfits kicking around. It's a fantastic weekend up in Falkirk in Scotland. It was just a really, really superb day and night. I stayed for the Friday night. The wedding was on the Saturday. Stayed the Saturday night, and then I decided to stay on the Sunday night as well, just make a weekend of it. But everyone else had gone on the Sunday morning, so the Sunday was just kind of a chill out day, really. But it was just superb to get away, and it was fantastic to see all the family. It was brilliant to be dressed up in a kilt. And it's just, yeah, I've not worn a kilt for a long time now, but it's just super nice to have the outfit now. And I'm definitely going to buy myself another kilt too, because I won't need to buy all the other stuff again. But I'm definitely going to buy myself another kilt because I've lost so much weight since I bought it. I definitely want one that's a bit tighter, and I may well go for another colour, but I haven't decided yet. But I won't do it just now because I've not got any reason to wear one at the moment. But there are people in the family that are still to get. My boy will hopefully get married at some point, so there'll be an excuse to wear one there. My little nephew, who's 11, he'll get married at some point when I'm in my 60s probably at that point. So there's plenty of people kicking around that are still probably going to get married and stuff, and plenty of occasions. And if the football's on, I might make an excuse to, never know, might go to a Scotland match or something and wear it there. But it was just superb. It was fantastic. There's nothing like a family wedding and stuff like that, just to bring so many different people together and just have a fantastic night. And everybody was just on really good form, and it was people I hadn't seen in so long. It was fantastic. Superb weekend. Cannot begin to tell you how nice it was just to A, be in Scotland again, B, seeing all that family again, being at an event, C, being at an event like a wedding, and just everyone just having a cracking time and enjoying themselves. It was absolutely fantastic. It could not have gone any better. It was superb. And it was all in the hotel. Like, the wedding was in the hotel. So it was the same room used for each part of the wedding. So the wedding itself happened in the room, and it was all laid out really nice, like a wedding venue. And then everyone comes out of there and goes back to the bar and stuff, sits outside, chills out, have some drinks. And meanwhile, the staff are then changing it all for the night time, for the dancing and all that sort. Sorry, for the meal. So they're changing it all for the meal, everything. Then you go back in and have your meals, all that sort of stuff. And then when that's finished, you kind of ask to go out again, have a few drinks and stuff. And then they clear away the all the meal stuff and all that, clear a bit for the dance floor, and then everyone goes back in again. So there was no running around trying to get people in cars, getting people from one location to another and stuff. It was just really easy for everybody. Outside of the fact that nobody really lives in Falkirk, they just picked that as a venue that they wanted to have the wedding at. They wanted a Scottish wedding. I think the reason that Falkirk was picked was because Edinburgh was just way more expensive and really much harder to get bookings for. And Falkirk, it was a really, really posh, nice hotel. It was really smart. So they picked really well. So other than actually getting there, and as long as you've got a room and everything, that's fine. And it was from Blackpool, it was 3 hours and 20 minutes. It was a really quick drive. It was quicker than getting to Edinburgh. Edinburgh's a good 4 hours, really, from here, realistically. Best time, really, I think. I've done it a little bit quicker than that before, but yeah. But anyway, it wasn't a tough drive at all. So yeah, really, really, really good weekend. So that's a part of the reason that's happened over the last week. Things have been really busy and up at work. I talked about last time the operation that I'd had, and the fact that it wasn't particularly comfortable to sit in game after sitting down all day doing my day job. So that has also been quite a bit of the impact of why I've not been doing stuff. So, I mean, it's not like I've been gaming and not showing you guys it. I haven't been gaming at all for about 3 weeks. And to be honest with you, I think with the weather being nice and, just got an itchy nose, people, bear with me. With the weather being nice, it's been like the time that I've had that I've kind of been enjoying going up to the pub at the seafront, and I've been enjoying the weather rather than just sitting inside and gaming by myself. So it's just been nice to do other stuff while the weather's been good. So it's just been a mix of reasons, really, as to why I've not done anything with the channel. Baldur's Gate coming along has been the perfect opportunity to get back into a bit of Let's Playing, but along with that has come the good weather. So if it had been ramming it down with rain today, I would probably have spent all night tonight playing Baldur's Gate. So it's just the way things have worked out, really. So anyway, we're doing this instead, people. So it's quite nice, actually, to do one of these, having not done one for a while. And not have my therapy. This is my therapy, people. I keep telling you this every time I do these. The camera is my psychiatrist, and I just get everything off my chest. Well, you guys are my psychiatrist, but at the moment it feels like the camera, the iPhone. So I am very excited to get started with Baldur's Gate 3. People were asking me, "Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?" And the answer was kind of yeah, but I don't want to say I'm going to do a full playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 because I know what Larian's games are like. Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 are a hard work. Like, they're fun, but when you're recording them, it's hard work because you're constantly conscious of the fact that it's taking you ages to figure stuff out. So, which means that's going to come with a whole bunch of editing and a whole bunch of like. But anyone that knows the channel knows that I tend to just show you what I've recorded. I don't edit it very rarely do I edit anything out of what I've done on camera. So it then becomes a bit more of a chore recording those sort of things because you feel like you've got to lop a bunch of stuff out because it's a bit boring watching me walk around try to figure out what to do. Whether or not that's the same in Baldur's Gate 3, I suspect that it is, but because they like building games that don't hold your hand. They don't say, go here for this quest, do that quest, and then go here. They don't do that. They build games where you've got to talk to everybody, you've got to ask them questions, you've got to figure out where you've to go. So they'll tell you where to go in sort of the other games, and usually it wouldn't even flag it on the map. You'd have to look at the map and say, what did he say? Right, I've got to go over that area over there and have a look around there and ask them questions and stuff. So there's a lot of things you have to figure out yourself. And it just becomes a lot harder work to do it as a recording. But I had absolutely every intention of doing at least some episodes to show you guys what it's like as a game. And it's a 10 out of 10 RPG. Like, it's been getting superb reviews everywhere. So I'm really, really happy for it. And it's a game that I'm probably going to spend a lot of time in. But we'll just see how much of it I managed to do on the channel. That's the only thing. Now, alongside that came Starfield, which I think got early access today. What day are we on? No, yesterday. You got early access on the 1st, I think. I think it's the 2nd today. So you got early access yesterday. There's just nothing about that game screaming at me to go and play it. Like, and it's not because I'm saying there's anything wrong with the game. It's just that it's got all kinds of not exciting for me written all over it. It's the sort of start. It's similar to No Man's Sky, because I know No Man's Sky is popular and still popular to this day, but it's the kind of space stuff that I just find boring after a while because it's just running around gathering materials, and then you might shoot something, and then you might gather some more materials, and there's not really anything. It's not a world that I get excited about. You know, like I would be all over that Bethesda game if it was Elder Scrolls 6. So, you know, it's just that sort of game. You know, all of the stuff I've seen about that game, none of it has been calling me to get that early or to play it on the channel and there's going to be everyone and the mother's going to be playing that on YouTube. So it's not like it's going to get me a massive amount of views or anything. So it does look, I mean, not to mention the fact that they've not done a 60 FPS mode on it, which would just wind me up anyway. So I'm kind of, nothing about Starfield was calling to me. So, and there's no way that I'm going to be doing Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 at the same time. So it was always going to be Baldur's Gate 3 that won that fight. And to be honest with you, even if Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't early access and wasn't even coming to console yet, I probably still wouldn't have played Starfield. I'd probably have got back to some Diablo 4, which you guys were still enjoying. Which I might still get back to be fair, just for something less thinking to do at some point in the middle of Baldur's Gate 3. But let's get a bit of Baldur's Gate 3 going, and then we can worry about other things. So there you are. So that's where we are channel-wise. That's why I've not done stuff for a little while. I am, by the way, feeling a lot more comfortable after this operation from a few months back now. So that kind of issue has kind of gone away now. So really it's just a case of the weather kind of getting a bit more rubbish, and then I'll be a bit more inclined to sit and play games in the house. So, and I think a lot of it is also to do with, like, because I live alone and I work from home most of the time, I don't get around people a lot. So it's nice to be able to go out and sit in a pub, because I inevitably end up chatting to people when I'm up there. People will sit, because I'll be sat at a big table on my own, and people will need somewhere to sit. They'll sit with me and they'll start chatting. All that sort of good stuff starts happening. It's good to be around people. It's not good to be isolated all the time. So it's been really good for my soul to be actually out there rather than just sat here doing. I know it's good for you guys when I do stuff, but for me as a person, I'll be better at giving you content because I'm happier at, you know, getting a bit of company and all that sort of stuff. So there we are. So channel-wise, you've got stuff to be looking forward to. I'll try and do, obviously, some more of these as well. Because and this is also part of the reason the Flagging Up Friday vlogs haven't happened, because those times that I would have done it, I've been going out there to have a drink at the seafront and all that sort of stuff. So that's why this sort of stuff hasn't been happening in the main part. And why it's so nice to do it now. And why I'm doing it early with a 7-Up. So that I can edit it all together up there. So what I'm going to do is, once I've got that, I can edit the thumbnail on the laptop, send that into my email, which then means I've got the thumbnail on the phone, and then I've got the editor tool for the video itself on the iPhone, where I can just edit together and then render it up there, post it up there onto YouTube, and I'll do all that while I'm sitting listening to the music and enjoying a nice fine beverage with a big head on it, people. Or 7 Up to you all anyway. And Flagons up to you all, but when I get up there, I'll be having a beer when you're watching this. So Flagons up to you. So I did pick up on a few news stories. We'll be going for about 15 minutes. We'll keep going for a little bit more, people. As I say, though, it will be a slightly shorter one today because time-wise, I need to still edit the thumbnail together and then I need to walk up to the place and stuff. So, bear with me, people. I'll still give you half an hour of me spraffing on. I'm just going to put these on, people. Hello. Old man glasses here. In fact, I'll need to take these with me in my combat's pocket because got my combat shorts on. Otherwise, I'll not be able to see what I'm doing with the editor on the iPhone. I tell you, my eyes, people. I mean, only when I'm reading and doing stuff, it's just little things that are my problem. Everything else is fine. Anywho, what have we got? We'll quickly rattle through these little news stories I was picking up. Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox Series S. Looks like it's getting launched, and it's getting launched without the split screen mode, which is what I was saying in previous vlogs. Like, why not just launch it for both, but just say the S hasn't got the split screen on it? Excuse me. And finally, it looks like Xbox have said, right, we'll just do it, because I think even sending their people in to help, they're still struggling to make it happen. So they're going to release the game, and the S isn't going to have the split screen co-op. I think it's just couch. Yeah, it's couch co-op because it's a split screen one. And I think most people will be happier with that than not getting it at all. So I'm actually really chuffed with that. I think it's a good plan. I wish they'd done it in the first place, and then they could have launched at the same time as the PS5, because the Xbox Series X version was ready and good to go. So that is happening. They haven't given a date yet, but the head of Larian Studios, or one of the heads of Larian Studios, has said that it's very soon and probably between September and November this year. So anyone that's got an Xbox, you guys, if you've been sitting wondering when is this going to happen, it looks like you're going to get it before November. So I think that is fantastic. It obviously was so ready to go, other than that one issue. And I know there was a couple I can't remember who it was, but I know somebody in the Discord chat was saying, oh, well, I'll need to wait for it to come out on the Series X and stuff. To be honest with you, I would have played it on the Series X. If it had been out at the same time, I would have picked the Series X over the PS5, because I tend to do that for this stuff anyway. I'm quite comfy on the Xbox Series X. But anyway, we are where we are, and I've bought it on PlayStation 5 now. 6.5, it doesn't really. So, very exciting news if you're an Xbox player. Larian Studios talks about when to expect spoilers. We've just done that one, people. I think my links are actually in the wrong order. Never mind. I think just the top's gone a bit wonky the way that I've sent it. Elder Scrolls 6 is officially in production, people. It's no longer just an idea. It has started being made. It won't be around anytime soon, though. I mean, if they've only just started it, I mean, it takes them about 5 years to make these games. I think Starfield was a 5-year, wasn't it? So I think they're going to milk Starfield for all it's worth, and then we'll probably get... I mean, bearing in mind ZeniMax as a whole business will have loads more games coming out, but the Todd Howard-esque ones that are him and his team, we'll be looking at probably about 4 years off. Yeah, I think we've got an article here. This is from IGN. Bethesda has confirmed that its highly anticipated role-playing game, The Elder Scrolls 6, which was officially announced in 2018, has entered early development. Speaking to Vandal about the imminent release of Starfield, Bethesda head of publishing Pete Hines confirmed the Skyrim sequel has completed the pre-production stage and moved into the development phase. Hines was asked if fans will hear more about The Elder Scrolls 6 once Starfield launches, and says, quote, "We have put all our studio's focus on making this game best it can be," he said. Translated. And yes, there are people working on Elder Scrolls 6, but this is what the studio focused on. So no, you're not going to hear soon about The Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, so they're basically just letting people know, yeah, we've gone into production with it. We've gone into development with it now, out of production mode, and we're on with it. They're not going to start talking about something they've only just started putting code into a computer for. So, but exciting nonetheless that we know that it's finally on the go. But it was never ever going to happen at the same time that... In fact, I'm frankly quite impressed that the production side has happened while Starfield was going on. But it was never going to happen that they would start coding that game until Starfield was really ready to go. So, yeah, fair play, innit? Fair dues. A I mean, I'd be all over. Like I said earlier, I'd be all over that if that was out instead of Starfield. It's just more my genre. More my genre. Yeah, there's a game. This Moria. There's a game coming out. Lord of the Rings. Return to Moria, I think it's called. And I've kind of kept my eye on it, but it is. I'm trying to remember who the publisher is now. I don't think it's Focus. It's somebody else. But anyway, I don't think it's going to be my kind of game, but it is a sandbox type building game where you basically go back to Moria as the dwarves and you sort of reclaim it and you rebuild it and stuff. But apparently it is massive. It is absolutely gigantic when you get inside Moria. It's like the movie and the book. They have made it that vast. And it takes a good few hours to actually clear out enemies and stuff to the point where you can start building. And I think those sort of enemies keep coming as you sort of expand out into that area and stuff. But it is very much a building a city back up from scratch kind of thing. And what was interesting was that the clip that I watched was, I think it was at the genuine voice of Gimli from the movies, who was doing the voiceover for the dwarves returning and everything, which is very cool. Whether or not he's actually voicing anything in the actual game, it'd be cool if he is. So someone let me know if you know the answer to that. I don't think it, but it looks really impressive from a scale point of view. Whether or not it's a game that stands up as a playable game, yet to be seen. But it does look really good. If you just go, YouTube Return to Moria, normally I would put some. If I wasn't recording on the iPhone, I would generally put some trailers up for you to watch while I'm chatting. But we can't really do it in any way sensibly the way that I record this on the iPhone. So yeah, just YouTube search it, people. Return to Moria, you'll get a trailer for it. A Path of Exile 2, the Druid class. So Path of Exile 2, basically I found this article from someone that had been speaking to the devs on the Path of Exile 2, which I am going to be very excited to see. And it is, I mean, this guy's super excited about it. This again's from IGN. I'm not quite seeing the guy's name, but it's from IGN. By Travis Northup from IGN. For me, ARPGs have always... I've just read a little bit of this article. It's quite long. For me, ARPGs have always served as a kind of calming junk food that allowed me to sink into my chair and spend countless hours mindlessly grinding away with little threat of ever breaking sweat. This was definitely true of the original Path of Exile, which I've been known to actually fall asleep playing while raiding dusty crypts and forgotten dungeons. It has a soothing effect on me that is in its pleasant repetition. So I'll skip the rest of that bit. He goes, I enjoyed the original Path of Exile much. The original Path of Exile is much more straightforward, click-to-do DPS combat back in 2017. But this sequel, its predecessor, looked... What? Hang on a minute. Oh, but this sequel has made its predecessor look shoddy, right? So he's saying the new one looks superb. And overly simplistic by comparison. Instead of just spamming the same ability over and over again until everything dies, Path of Exile 2 asks you to think about how each of your abilities can work together to apply status effects, synergize with one another, and overcome specific combat obstacles like nigh endless waves of goblins charging at you, or a giant beast that doesn't seem to flinch at even the strongest attacks. This new philosophy became obvious when I played as the recently revealed Druid class, which focuses on the intelligence and strength to create a hybrid between magic and raw power. In human form, I'd focus on spells, trickery to apply the status effects and set myself up for the imminent rampage of my bear form. Then, as a bear, I'd lay waste to everything in sight by managing a rage counter, and triggering a bunch of powerful area of effect attacks. I could still try doing things the good old-fashioned way by rushing in and spamming the same abilities. Path of Exile 2 isn't a fan of implementing cooldowns after all, so there's nothing stopping me, but doing so isn't just boring, but ineffective compared to the much more satisfying alternative. But the ability to augment my skills so they'd trigger automatically under specific conditions allowed me to take my build crafting to a whole new level. For example, since I always wanted to cast my lightning ability alongside my volcanic eruption, I linked them together so they'd always cast at the same time. Then could do the same with my ability to summon wolves by setting it up to cast automatically when I stunned the enemy as a bear. This kind of extremely precise tuning allowed me to turn my bear warrior into exactly the kind of rampaging DPS monster I'd always wanted to be, and that's just dang impressive. I can't begin to imagine the cocktails of destruction that will be put together when the min-maxing ARPG community gets their hands on this thing. And that was it. This is just after an hour of this guy playing Path of Exile 2, so I'm actually really excited to see. I haven't actually seen any footage of this, and I didn't know there was any footage out there. If there is, I haven't looked at it yet before recording this, so I might actually go and have a little search around the old googly machine and see if I can find something, or the YouTube machine. Are they not one and the same thing, people? Two different search places, one massive company. But yeah, so Path of Exile, I mean, I sunk a lot of hours in. Anyone that watches the channel knows I've got loads of Let's Play material up there from Path of Exile over multiple playthroughs, both on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Ooh, did I do some on the Xbox One even? Might have done, you know. I can't remember now. But there's loads of footage of me playing it up there, the different classes and stuff. And I got loads. I mean, I must have done hundreds of hours, well, 100 hours at least, over all of those different plays that I did. And I did more off camera recently as well. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what the Path of Exile 2 is going to be like. Sorry, Path of Exile 2, not the Path of Exile 2, Steve. So, yeah, so anyway, that was just a number of articles that I picked up this last week or two. I think it's most of them are from this week, to be fair, just picking them up from IGN. And I thought I'd just chat about them now while I was popping in to say hello anyway. So let me know what you think about any of those news subjects, people. Let me know about what you think about my decision to play Baldur's Gate 3 instead of Starfield. Let me know if you are playing Starfield and what you think of it while you're playing it. It is holding, the last time I looked, it was holding at a solid 87 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is a superb score. Interestingly, though, GameSpot and IGN both only gave it a 7 out of 10, which I find that surprising considering it's got that high a score on Metacritic. So there's something very odd going on in that respect. To be honest with you, from everything that I saw in the run-up to Starfield, I thought a 7 was probably going to happen, simply because it just didn't look interesting enough. There was nothing to do. There was nothing. I know it came out not long before the game launched that they were talking about all these hundreds of planets where you go investigating and search, you know, and nothing's ever the same and for any other player and stuff like that. But it turned out that when you land on these planets, you walk along for so long, and then you suddenly hit a boundary. So the planets aren't entirely discoverable. You literally hit a boundary after walking. I don't know how far you can go, but there are boundaries you hit on these planets, and you can't go any further. So you can't. There's not hundreds of planets where you can just walk a whole circle of the planet. And I don't know if that matches I just mentioned it. What was it called? The other one that's similar. I don't know if No Man's Sky. I don't know if it's the same in No Man's Sky. I can't remember. But then there's a part of me that's like, well, why would you want to walk an entire planet anyway? Because these places aren't going to have much in the way of interest in them. There might be a few faction bases or something where you can go and destroy it and get some loot and stuff. But there's not. I don't see how wandering an entire planet is going to be that interesting when there's only things like that on it. You're just mining for material and what have you. So I can kind of get it, and it's a huge undertaking if you're going to give people hundreds of planets with every planet full. I mean, you can't even walk the entire planet of Skyrim. you do finally walk into a wall. It's the same with Fallout. You know, it's set in a specific location, aren't they? Those games. So I'm not even aware of a game where you could wander one whole world that's popping into my head. But anyway, so it shouldn't be a surprise that there are boundaries. But for me, that's what the game feels like. It feels like many, many places to go with not a huge amount of exciting stuff in them. You'll go, oh, there's some new animals walking around, and here's some new loot I can get, or stuff I can mine to make something new. And it's what's in there that would excite me. Like, I'd probably just be so bored after playing it for a number of hours, I think. And then I would just end up playing the campaign and then wander off. So that's really what my worry of the game was. But I could be entirely wrong, and GameSpot could be entirely wrong, and IGN could be entirely wrong. Remember, when you get these reviews from these big companies, it's just one person at those companies. It's not a group of people giving you a score. So, I mean, I've always been a fan of why don't these companies, certainly for the big games, get 3 or 4 people to review it, all score it, and give us the average score of 4 or 5 people rather than just one person's opinion. I think that would be a better score for a company to give out, especially for the big AAA titles. And I still don't know why they don't do it. And it's most likely because they don't have enough staff to do that. And they're all trying to do their own thing that they're given. And plus you'd need a number of copies in order to do that. They'd probably get a number of preview codes, for example. And they won't get 5 or 6, they'll only get 1. But for my liking, I that would be the best way for a big company to review a game. But anyway, there we are. But there you are. It's holding at an 87 anyway, so it's doing really well on Metacritic. And I don't think it's ever going to be... I don't think anyone's going to say it's a bad game. I think every review I've seen has said that it's good, great, or fantastic. So there you are. But let me know. Let me know if you're playing it and let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 on the PC and let me know what you think of it. And if by the time you watch this, let me know what you think of, without spoilers, let me know what you think about Baldur's Gate 3 on the PlayStation 5. And I am super excited to be recording that. Oh, and the other thing is, yes, I'm going to be having a few beers tonight, so I probably won't be playing Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow. But I'm off Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, people, this week to use up some holiday time. So I have every intention of using those 3 days to record the ass out of Baldur's Gate 3. So you will definitely be getting Baldur's Gate 3 through next week. It's just a shame that it's not worked out that I could give you it over this weekend. It would have been nice if they just gave it in the UK when we woke up this morning and I could have recorded it. You could have had a bit. Wouldn't have this vlog though, to be fair. You'd have Baldur's Gate 3, but you wouldn't have this. But there you go. So there you are. You'd be much happier now because you've seen my lovely face. Who wants to see Baldur's Gate 3 when you can see this, people? You know what I mean? And on that note, people, so there you are, folks. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again in this little vlog of mine today. And I shall catch you all in the next one, folks. Take it easy. Bye.